I will argue that the column of Trajan serves two important functions. First, the column of Trajan represented the ultimate victory monument, commemorating Emperor and General Trajan, in what may be one of the finest examples of military propaganda in the ancient world. Second, the column of Trajan serves as a Roman funerary monument, honoring the memory of Emperor Trajan. The column illustrates episodes of two wars waged and won by Trajan against the Dacians. The first war was between 101 and 102 CE. The second between 105 and 106 CE. Under Trajan, the Roman Empire expanded to reach its greatest territorial extent. The frieze images on the column depict in detail the main episodes of the war, from the beginning of the campaign with the crossing of the Danube on a bridge of boats to the deportation of the vanquished population. The frieze shows battles, sieges, the construction of military camps, speeches to the troops, and executions. Upon his ascension to emperor in 98 CE, the empire Trajan inherited was fraught with financial difficulties. These difficulties were in part because of Domitian's greed and in part due to Nero's debasement of the currency in 64 CE. Trajan, the soldier emperor, sought to remedy the situation through war, just as Augustus had done a century before. However, many Roman citizens perceived war differently from Trajan. Many Romans believed that military activity was not a source of wealth. These Romans believed that war was an enormous waste of both manpower and money. Trajan had an urgent message to impart during his reign as emperor. Trajan needed to demonstrate to civilian Rome the confidence of the soldiers loyal to him and confirm Rome's superiority in the world. Trajan had to fend off accusations of an irresponsible waste of resources in conducting war. To appease the Senate, Trajan searched for justification of the wars he had already waged against the Dacians, as well as any future wars he might plan to initiate. Trajan decided to employ Apollodorus, his military engineer, to undertake the construction of a new urban-centered forum for the benefit of all Romans. Furthermore, at one end of this forum, Trajan constructed a magnificent 150-foot column as a powerful image of dominance. Here is an image of the layout of the forum with the column towards the back. The forum was designed as a symbol of Trajan's vaunted army organization. Trajan's forum was a model of architectural innovation. The forum square led to a stunning basilica. Libraries, a temple, and the amazing column were located behind the basilica. Trajan needed to display as aggressively as possible the enormous quantities of treasure he had won through war on behalf of Rome. This war treasure was sufficient to build the entire forum and column ex manubis from the proceeds of war. The column of Trajan towered above the forum from a vantage point through which the magnificent effect of the entire complex could be experienced. Trajan's column celebrates Trajan's victory over the Dacians. The iconography of the column does not focus on the stark realities of war. The iconography focuses on the order and rationality of the Roman army under Trajan. The importance of the message Trajan was trying to convey cannot be overestimated. War through an efficient military will ensure the prosperity of Rome. The subject matter of the column's frieze played a vital part in expressing Trajan's message of the benefits of military might. Though Trajan's column strives to illustrate Trajan's Dacian wars, it contains very few actual battle scenes depicting the gruesome realities of war. Only about 20% of the scenes depicted on the column were battle scenes. Rather, the column relief is made up of more peaceful themes, notably scenes of travel, construction, ad locutio, submissio, and sacrifice. In some of these scenes, Trajan is exhibiting traits of a good emperor, such as virtus, clementia, and pietas. Trajan was anxious to prove the competence of his soldiers to dispel the Roman citizens' resentment of the financial drain caused by war. Trajan wanted to display the wealth he brought to Rome for foreign wars, perhaps with a view to promoting a planned future Parthian military campaign. On the column, non-aggressive, constructive themes were opportunely chosen to represent his men in complete control with Roman calm, constantly opposed to Dacian panic. Periodic sacrifice scenes pepper the narrative to affirm campaigns were undertaken with the implied consent of the gods and with all due piety. There is a metaphorical connection between the construction scenes on the column and the recently completed construction of the Forum. This connection suggests a causal relationship between the campaigns and the resources resulting from them. The message Trajan conveys is that through the burden of war, the magnificence of the Forum and column was made possible. In addition to serving Trajan as effective propaganda, justifying his use of Roman resources for his military campaigns, the column also ultimately served the purpose of a funerary monument for Emperor Trajan. This helps explain the column's design. The frieze on Trajan's column has often been criticized for requiring the visitor to circumambulate the column to read it. How does one reconcile the outstanding quality of workmanship with such a seemingly unusual design? Many scholars believe that the solution to this problem lies in the column's function as an imperial tomb. By considering the column within the context of Roman funerary monuments, one could argue that the frieze's spiraling motion was designed to manipulate the viewer into a reenactment of ancient funerary ritual, as it is described in the literary sources. Among the Romans, the ceremony of circumambulation was always used in the rites of sacrifice, of expiation, or purification. The literary sources also state clearly that Trajan's ashes were buried sub columna. The prevalent view today on the column's function is that Trajan intended his column to be his final resting place from the outset. The sculptural and architectural form conspired to perpetuate Trajan's memory and to enforce reenactment of honorific rituals. Trajan's master sculptor created a visual raised gestae to engage the viewer, encouraging his mental interaction as he read the narrative, thereby forcing him to perpetuate Trajan's memory. Furthermore, the column functioned as a viewing station. The helical staircase inside its shaft cast the visitor into disorienting darkness before thrusting him or her at the summit into dazzling sunlight. Upon exiting the interior staircase at the top of the monument, the visitor was presented a dramatic vista that promoted Trajan as an accomplished general who restored Rome's self-esteem and her coffers through military victory.